So now we're going to have this conversation about the Goetia, okay? Solomonic magic. What is Solomonic magic? And how do you work with these spirits? This is a very complex subject. And the magical tradition of King Solomon is very, very old. I know how to practice this magic, although it's not my primary path. But I do work with angels. You might see a lot of people on this app talking about demons, or working with demons or daimons. A lot of that is derived from the magical grimoires. There's a lot of people that are practicing that incorrectly on this app, because angels and demons are not Pokemon, okay? You don't collect angels and demons. Angels and demons are not your spirit guides. They're not your ancestors. It's a pantheon of celestial entities and earth energies. The magical grimoires of that you know as King Solomon's magic or Solomonic magic. These techniques come from Jewish, Greek, Roman, Persian, indeed Egyptian magical techniques, invoking those energies, okay? This is called the Greek magical papyri in translation, including the demotic spells, okay? This is that you would want to read this book if you want to understand techniques of Greco-Egyptian magic. So what the Greek magical papyri is, it's an actual document that comes from 1st, 2nd, and 3rd century CE. It's a spell book. This is a compilation of spells that people that practice Jewish, Christian, and indeed Greek and Egyptian magic, they borrowed from all of those different traditions to create. It's a kind of, the Greek magical papyri, when you read it, is kind of like folk magic. I'm not going to lie. It's like a type of conjure. And when you read the spells that are in this book of the Greek magical papyri, you can see that we have been cast as witches and magicians have been casting magic and conjuring spirits the same way for thousands and thousands of years. The Greek magical papyri is just an example of spell casting using spirits. The techniques used by the Greco-Egyptian practitioners is the foundation for the Goetia that became popular later in the grimoire traditions. Anybody who wants an introduction to the magical grimoires need to get Secrets of the Magical Grimoires by Aaron Leach. He would be an expert in this. The person that published this book, Stephen Skinner, The Goetia of Dr. Rudd, which is really the manual that you should be using if you want to do this work practically, is the same person that published this book, Techniques of Solomonic Magic. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, okay? This is my own working magical stuff. Techniques in Greco-Egyptian magic, Techniques of Solomonic magic, the Greek magical papyri, the Goetia of Dr. Rudd. These books ain't cheap. They ain't cheap, okay? You gotta save your money if you wanna buy this collection of books that will teach you how to practice Solomonic magic. And what most people don't understand is a lot of what people practice today, okay, in neo-paganism, in Wicca, the model that has been used in magic for a very long time comes from the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn was a magical fraternity that concocted its own system, its own mystery school based on myth and legend. The magic of King Solomon, Egyptian magic, Kabbalah, Enochian magic, John Dee, indeed myths about the Knights Templar, and even using degrees, the same way Freemasonry has degrees in their secret society. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn popularized these things, and indeed Gerald Gardner, who was associated with people who are members of the Golden Dawn came up with his own system of Wicca, which is based off the same concept. But whenever you see somebody talking about casting a magic circle and using a dagger or a sword or a cup, a chalice, a pentacle, a talisman, working astrological and celestial magic, all that stuff goes all the way back to ancient Egypt, goes all the way back to ancient Greece, goes all the way back to Persian magic in Babylon and Sumeria. Indeed, the Jews picked this stuff up and incorporated it into Judaism. And a lot of people would say that even Jesus Christ himself practiced this kind of magic to control demonic forces. The thing about angels and demons is that they transcend any particular religion, okay? Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Uriel, Eophiel, all the 72 angels of the Shem-Ham Pharesh, celestial forces. These entities have been called on and conjured on since before prehistory. It's before written history. Just like a lot of gods and goddesses over time had their names changed or altered because of different geographical regions or different ethnic groups that practice these kinds of practices. So like Archangel Michael, Saint Archangel Michael might mean something to Catholics, but Michael the Archangel also means something very, very different in the grimoire tradition. And that Archangel Michael image was syncretized with other pagan deities and gods. So this is what you have to remember about invoking angels and demons, gods and goddesses, and all of this stuff. You're working with spirits. You're working with energy consciousness. And what the magical grimoires do is it tells you the nature of these energy consciousness that are called upon to affect change. But the grimoire tradition is very diverse. There are people that do meditations to conjure angels and demons of the grimoires. There are people that do the full setup. I mean, full regalia, weeks to prepare for a ceremony with all the invocations to call the angels or the spirits. But these energies and these entities are real. This is not make-believe. This is not play. And I can tell you from first-hand experience, conjuring an angel, that they are real. They show up. And one thing people don't understand about these angels and demons is they will mount you. They will come into possession if you allow them to. There have been people that have been possessed by angels. So like I said, these entities are very, very old. Goes back to Egypt, Babylon, Greece. Indeed, in the 1st century, Jewish magic and Kabbalah and Hermeticism got mixed up with it. So the grimoire traditions and the Goetia is really just a clusterfuck of a lot of different old ancient beliefs and spirits that were compiled into books. And systems were created to categorize these different spirits. But what people don't understand is this is all based on astrology. Astrology, understanding and learning about astrology is the key to understanding the grimoire tradition. Because a lot of these angels and demons can only be called at certain times of year under certain circumstances in the window of opportunity you have to be able to call on them. So that we're talking about celestial forces. Very, very real, tangible celestial forces that are called on. So some people don't understand some of the demons and angels that they call on. You only get like opportunities to call on those entities like maybe once a year for a period of like a couple of days. But these people that say that they're working with angels and demons and Paimon and they work with all of these Goetic spirits, that might or might not be true. But in my opinion, these are not entities that you keep around in your house or leave an open door, an open portal for these entities to come in and out of your house, because they can be highly volatile and the energy and frequency they vibrate can be very, very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. And I'm going to talk about that in my next video.